Welcome streamers and creators. Today we are going to be looking at 3 main camera angles and how we can apply them to our webcam so you can make your streaming game look so much more professional. All that and more, guys, coming right up. Hey guys, my name is the Mike James and welcome back. I am a streamer, I am a podcast host, and I am now apparently a YouTuber. But today I am bringing you a video because over my years of being a freelance photographer and having a degree in TV and film production, there is 3 camera angles or 3 camera angle sort of techniques that I used in filmmaking and in photography to achieve different effects from your subject that is on the camera. And I'm bringing you this video today because these do actually transfer over to Twitch in a sort of small way, and I do want to hopefully inspire some people to maybe think about their own camera angles and think, maybe I do need to change this up a little bit to give your audience a better experience. But I do want to throw a bit of a disclaimer out there today, guys. There is, technically speaking, no right or wrong way to place your webcam. You are free to place it as you want. There is nobody on Twitch that should be telling you how you can and cannot do things, as long as it adheres to the terms of service. You are free to do whatever you please. I'm just bringing you a little bit of my knowledge in hopes that you can create a better experience for your own audience. Alright guys, so firstly I'd like to talk about the purpose of a webcam. It is kind of obvious, but there is some more further in-depth reason as to why we use them. So first and foremost, webcams are used to see the actual streamer, to make that human connection. But there is a little bit more to it than that actually can help you portray yourself better on screen, in that people can connect with body language and facial expressions just like you would in a real life-to-life meeting. You can look at somebody's face and you can tell when they are genuinely pleased, displeased, angry, sad, or upset, in the way that they hang their shoulders, in the way that they talk, in the way that they look at the camera. Just everything about a person can help sell their emotions and help sell their stream. So with that in mind, I want to talk to you about 3 camera angles that are used in TV and filmmaking that can actually really help or actually really hurt your content as a streamer. So the first camera angle that I'd like to speak about is the top-down camera angle. This is the one that I am rocking, and there is a few reasons as to why. There is the neutral eye-level camera angle, which is probably the most used, and there is also the camera angle that I would say is the least used, and rightly so, and if you are using it, I would encourage you not to, is the camera pointing up at the subject. And I will get into the reasons why they all work or don't work, but first let's jump back to the top-down camera. This is a hugely useful camera angle to use for a number of reasons. First of all, let me talk to you a little bit about the psychology behind it. So, the top-down camera angle is actually used to pretty much make the subject, aka me or you as the streamer, seem smaller than the viewer. It's to make the viewer have a little bit more authority, and that can actually work in some cases to allow your viewers to feel like they have a little bit more control over you as an individual, over your content, and it can be used to sell your streams in a sort of different manner. There is also the purpose of the top-down camera angle in that it determines on your background. You can tell that I am using the top-down camera angle right now, and the reason is because I have objects on the shelf in my background. You can see books over to my left or to your right, and again you can see my Twitch shirt, and there might be some Harry Potter objects and Lord of the Rings objects like Helm's Deep over there on the shelf. This is an extension of my character. It is useful to show this because people can tune in, they can see my interests, and it gives people a talking point as to, you know, interests that might be a common ground between the viewer and streamer. Moving on, we have the neutral eyeline camera angle, which is probably the most used on Twitch. I recommend this if you're using a green screen, and the reason why the neutral one works so well is because there is technically no psychology behind it. It is completely neutral. It allows the audience to build their own opinion of you based on what they are seeing and what they are hearing. The camera angle itself doesn't really portray the streamer in any particular way, apart from the fact that you are just looking at a camera, and it can be great to be used. As I said, it's great to be used if you are using a green screen, but again, if you don't and you have a background, it's perfectly fine. Just use it, just make sure it's nicely framed. Don't have too much dead space between the top of your head and the top of the frame. Don't have too much dead space around the side. Just make sure that you are centered and that the eye line is the same as the camera line, and you will be good to go. That is the camera angle that I recommend you start off on, and that is probably going to be your best bet if you are starting out or if you are just getting a webcam. Now, I want to move on to a webcam angle that shouldn't be used, and that is the upwards camera angle. That is where the camera is looking up at a subject, and this is typically done when a streamer has nowhere to place a webcam. They will place it on the desk, point it up at them, and they hope that all is well. However, unfortunately, there's a number of reasons why this doesn't work. First of all, it's just quite awkward. I mean, most of the time we are staring at your chin. It's not particularly very personable. It makes the audience feel uncomfortable, and the psychology behind it is it's actually subtly telling the viewer in your subconscious that the streamer you are watching has more power and authority than you do. This is used a lot when introducing people in films that have power. You'll notice some shots, for example, is like Dolores Umbridge and things like that, and Voldemort tends to have a lot of upwards camera angles, to give him power, and then towards the end of the films you'll actually notice that they actually use a lot more neutral and then downwards sort of levels for the character and the eyeline and things to make Voldemort's power diminish. And again, like I said, you don't want to be staring up at people's chins. I mean, who really wants to stare up at a double chin or stare up at the underside of somebody's chin? And really, is that really the first message that you want to give somebody when they come into your stream? Is this awkward sort of like look down when you look down at them and then they feel a bit intimidated? I mean, a lot of people on Twitch are coming into Twitch with limited social interaction. Some people aren't particularly fond of people that are sort of perceiving themselves to be bigger than you. So that's just something to keep in mind of. If you do have a webcam that's pointing up at you, try and move it. You can buy very, very cheap tripods for most webcams. You could even stack up boxes. Cereal boxes is a very good idea. Put a cereal box behind your monitor, rest the webcam on a large cereal box. It'll be fine. And it's better than having it point upwards at you, and that will just help up your streaming game straight away. Now, there is actually two other camera angles that are quite often used as streamers, and that is the hand cam and the animal cam. Firstly, the animal cam is kind of self-explanatory. A streamer will usually have a webcam pointing at them, and then they will have a webcam pointing at an animal. This is perfectly fine. If animals are included in your branding, then that's when you should use them. They can be a fantastic way for people to come in and be like, oh, you have a cat, the cat's adorable, and they can talk about cats. But just remember that if you are going to use that, then obviously you are going to be talking about your animal a fair bit, so make sure that you are passionate about having that as part of your brand if you are going to do that. And finally, there is one which is quite often used by people that aren't quite comfortable to be on webcam, but they are skilled at video games, and that is the hand cam. That is where the webcam is pointing head down at people's hands playing a game. This is a useful webcam angle, only to a certain extent though. I would never suggest using this as a full-time angle. There are some streamers that pull it off, such as Dizzy, who is an Apex streamer on Twitch, who's one of the best Apex players in the world. he uses it, but somebody actually proved a long time ago that originally they were used for showing that I am not a cheater. You could see their hand playing the game, you could see the movements on screen, and you could put 2 and 2 together and be like, oh, that person is not a cheater, they must be just generally great at the game. However, somebody actually did an experiment where they downloaded an aim hack on the game Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and they actually played the game with an aimbot whilst using a hand cam and proved that it didn't do anything. They had an aimbot set up to subtly adjust the aim when they were close to a player, and people were and they showed the footage, and it just looked exactly the same as when they weren't using it, but they were using it to obviously help increase their aim. So if you are thinking about doing that, just note that it's not exactly a foolproof way. It can be a good camera angle. Personally, would I recommend it? Probably not. I'd probably say getting to know you as an individual, especially in 2019, where we have, you know, over 3 million daily active streamers, not just on Twitch, but in fact the number's probably way higher if we talk about every platform. You really need to be starting to find a way to really sell your streams to people, and using your personality and your body language can be a really good way. So if you haven't got a webcam for your stream, consider getting one, because it can be super useful. But with that being said, as I said before, there is technically no right or wrong way. If you would like to use the webcam in whatever way you want, you can. If you want to go for the Dutch angle where you have your webcam on a slant, then go right ahead. It's not going to change anything for me. I'm just giving you a bit of knowledge in hopes of inspiring you, or you know, maybe next time you go to change your setup, you might sit there, place the webcam at neutral angle, and at least then you'll understand why you're doing it. Or if you see a friend that doesn't quite know their camera angles, you can always point it out to them and just say, hey, look, I would probably put your webcam at Eyeline because it's a better reason, because X, Y, and Z. Anyway, guys, with that sorted, we're gonna end this video. Anyway, guys, I've been the Mike James. Thank you for watching today's video. It's been super awesome bringing you this bit of information. If you've got any ideas on what I could help you with in the future, in a video form, please go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to catch me live, you can always head over to twitch.tv/the Mike James. Links will respectively be down in the description below. You can also check out the Patreon as well if you'd like to get content 24 hours before, and get access to an exclusive group where you can get my help and get everybody else's help in your content for a very, very affordable price. And to wrap things up, don't forget to head over to the podcast at anchor.fm, /the Mike James, or search the Mike James Content Experience on iTunes or Spotify. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been the Mike James once again. I hope you have a wonderful week, and if you have any issues whatsoever, please go ahead and DM me on Twitter at It's the Mike James, and I will hopefully see you guys again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.